Many traders have asked me to post a video explaining how I use some of the predictive technical indicators in VantagePoint. In this particular video, I'm going to focus on the predicted MACD. Generally speaking, what I have found that works for me personally is I use a variety of predictive indicators in VantagePoint, and I look for situations where I see full confirmation. When that happens, I'm able to enter the trade with confidence. I do not hesitate, which will cause someone to miss the beginning of a move, and I have a very high accuracy. I will often use the predicted MACD as confirmation to other predictive indicators in VantagePoint to help me make a trading decision. In this example, I'm using the triple crossover and the neural index as my main indicators with the predicted MACD below. Frequently, when I see a possible opportunity that I'm interested in, I'll check with the predicted MACD to see if it's confirming, which would give me more confidence to take advantage of the opportunity and enter the market. Other times, if I'm already in an existing position, and for one reason or another, I think that that trend may be coming to an end, I'll look at the predicted MACD to help me determine if I should have the confidence to stay in the position or if I should go ahead and close the position out. Down here is the predicted MACD. You'll see that the blue line is the actual predicted MACD, and the light black line is called the trigger. As the trend strength changes to the up or down side, the two lines will converge and diverge, which is where the name of the indicator comes from. Moving average, convergence, divergence. When looking at the predicted MACD, the most important situation I look for are for the two lines to intersect, which they did back here in the beginning of this chart. It's also important to look at the angle of the lines. Are they angling sharply upward, or are they angled horizontally? The other thing that's really important is the zero line. Here's the zero line. It's the thick black line that goes all the way across the chart. Once I find the zero line, I look to see, is the predicted MACD above the zero line, or is it below the zero line? If I'm looking for a bullish opportunity to go long, I want to make sure that the predicted MACD is above the zero line. Now this stock is called Plains All American Pipeline, and I'm going to bring you back to January 2nd, the very beginning of the year. You'll see here that the triple crossover was perfect. It crossed over to the upside, indicating that there may be an opportunity to get in the stock because it's expected to go up. The neural index was at a 0 and went to a 1 for 2 days in a row. That's confirmation to the triple crossover. So now let's look at the predicted MACD. Not only has the predicted MACD crossed above the trigger, but they are now above the zero line, which is important to give me confirmation that this really is going to be a bullish trend. This would be a good opportunity because of all of the conditions. There's nothing on this chart at this point in time that would indicate anything to the contrary that this stock is going up. Triple crossover is pointing up, neural index is at a 1, and the predicted MACD has crossed over and going above the zero line. If you go to look at the middle of this chart, you see how wide the gap is between the predicted MACD and the trigger? Do you see how the gap starts to narrow? Look at the gap here. It's much closer together than it was back here. The neural index has gone to a 0. Even the short term on the triple cross is pointing slightly downward. But nothing is actually saying to short the market. And I wouldn't even consider shorting the market at that point. I would want to stay in because everything is still pointing with the triple crossover that the trend is going to continue upward. Even the predicted MACD is still above the zero line. So this is just an indication that there may be a little bit of weakness. And you can see here that the market did flatten out a little bit. It even had a couple of down days. Let's go to the current trading day, which these are the predictions from last night for February 7th today. The triple crossover, although it's pointing a little bit more horizontal, it's still showing strength in the market. It's just not angled upward like it was back in the beginning of January. The neural index has come down to a 0. And if you look at the predicted MACD, you could see that the gap between these two lines is much, much, much smaller. And in fact, the predicted MACD has crossed the trigger. The lines are now horizontal and even pointing slightly downward, where back here in the beginning, they were pointing upward. Now, the predicted MACD is still very far above the trigger line. I'm sorry, the 0 line. So this is still indicating that there's strength in this market. But if I were in this move, I probably could have taken $5 to $6 per share out of the stock, which is about 11%. And this is about a 24 trading days on this chart. You'd want to protect that profit. That was a phenomenal move that VantagePoint predicted, and it's time to protect the profits that you've made. But personally, I wouldn't even consider shorting it. When I look for a short, I want to see the same setup that I saw back here, but to the opposite direction. The more stocks that you have in VantagePoint, the more conservative you can be. Cherry pick the best ones, and ideally, you're going to find much more profitable trades. I hope this video helps. Contact me with any questions. Happy trading to all. Sincerely, Ian Mendelson.